Recording just started. I have been working in higher ed for 5 years. I started as a graduate student at Central Michigan University, which is my alma mater, continued on to Northwood University in Michigan before moving to New York, starting my career there at Utica College in Career Services, and then moving over to Syracuse University. I worked at the Institute for Veterans and Military Families first before transitioning down to my current role in Career Services. I do have a career counseling background. I'm MBTI certified, Myers-Briggs Type Indicator. It's a personality assessment, as well as a Start Smart facilitator for salary negotiations with a specific focus on women. And I've been doing LinkedIn training since my early days in this field back at Central Michigan as a graduate student. So that kind of takes you through the pieces there. Through career counseling and career development, I've worked with various populations across the board, traditional and non-traditional students. That would be on campus, off campus, online, all of that. Online students, veterans, recent graduates, seasoned professionals, career changers, and all of these are from various backgrounds and industries, including different majors, different schools, and everything in between. Like I said, I graduated from Central Michigan University 2 times. My bachelor's degree from 2007 was in psychology, and I took some time off before going back to earn my master's in educational leadership in 2012. And I just recently started the Communications at Syracuse program through Newhouse. It's their online program for communications with concentrations in advertising, public relations, and innovative journalism. So far, so good. I'm only 2 weeks in, so check back. I figured I work with alumni a lot, so I might as well become an alum. Now, I just want to get a sense of who is here in the presentation. I am going to share a poll here. Let me see. Go ahead and pick your current career status. So if you're here and you're a new professional seeking advancement, or you're middle management looking to break through or change, maybe an experienced professional looking for a complete career change, maybe underemployed or unemployed seeking work, maybe happily employed just staying competitive, or none of these, or you just like free webinars. Okay, it looks like we have all of the attendees have voted. So the most popular is unemployed or underemployed and actively seeking work. 40% of you said that, and then some just said happily employed but looking to stay competitive, which is always pretty popular as well. I've worked with people in all stages of this career status, so I've seen basically everyone that selected any of these is someone that I've worked with. We're going to touch on a few things related to those along the way. So again, feel free to ask questions or anything as we move through the information, or add in any comments or concerns. So what is the Orange Advantage? This is a recently branded Syracuse University tagline to help identify a strong partnership between Syracuse University Career Services and the Office of Alumni Engagement. We also collaborate very much across campus, but the premise was to show alumni and bring awareness to the fact that they have access to career services for life, the ability to tap into the powerful Orange network anytime, anywhere, growing as a professional and having your alma mater help you along the way, and it provides services, programs, events, and more related to career and professional development. I will say the access to career services for life as a free resource right now is a pretty unique benefit, and that's why we really call it the Orange Advantage. A lot of schools will possibly provide services for alumni, but sometimes there's some stipulations there, whether they are required to be a couple years out, so maybe just within the first 2 or 5 years. Some do even 18 months, or they will do it for a fee. So, in that sense, how is that different than from accessing a professional career coach? It's probably a little bit cheaper at least, but it's still an extra free fee. So, as a Syracuse University alumnus, you have the opportunity to utilize those for free. This hasn't been something that has been just nationally really broadcast, just because of the time and commitment it takes to serve all alumni. When I started in this position and having the career services background, it was really something I wanted to integrate a little bit more. Our counselors in the Central Career Services Office are very good and have worked with alumni across all the populations and schools and colleges and industries and generations for a while, but they do get bogged down with interactions for students, and especially around times like Career Week that we have coming up or graduation, it kind of limits the access they can have with students if their focus is on alumni. So when I came, that was something I wanted to change. I helped take some of that weight off of them. And then we started to realize how important it was, even more so than what we had imagined. So, and why is it important? The value of your education here extends behind your time on the Hill. A lot of times when graduates talk about the ROI on college or higher education, they refer to how it translates to their current career status. So the value of that is often referenced to, do you have a successful career? Are you considering yourself underemployed? Things like that. And in today's environment, career development and career management is lifelong and ongoing. It's not just about grabbing the job right after you graduate and staying there and moving through the ranks and retiring from the same company 40 years later. So you're constantly in that flux of trying to either figure out what the next opportunity is or having them presented to you. With that, job markets and trends and practices are always changing. So even if the last time you were searching for a position was just a couple of years ago, there probably are some different things that you are coming into as you start a new search. So that resumes, interview etiquette, how to apply online job boards, all of that stuff. So our job then in career services is to stay on top of that information, connect with employers to make sure we have the most up-to-date guidelines for what's expected, and then helping you navigate that. Opportunity is always around the corner. Like I said, if it's something that's just presenting itself to you, that's always a really good situation. And if you're just passively looking or engaging with the job search, then you never really know what you're going to find. The entire process for a job search and or an entire career change or transition can be very daunting and sometimes very discouraging. So in our work, we like to help talk about that and ways to make it a little bit easier on yourself and stay positive throughout the process. And again, staying connected to the Orange Network. That's a really great benefit of all of this, because anytime you're in a job search or applying to a position or considering a new opportunity, coming back to the Syracuse University family is going to be a great way to help you get that next step. So whether it's a career services counseling appointment or just connecting at an alumni event, all of those things are helping you stay connected to Syracuse University as a whole. And then ongoing professional and personal development is important no matter what stage of your career you are in. So continuing to develop, continuing to learn, build these skills, interact with people, networking, all of that stuff is important. Also self-discovery and understanding. So that's another piece of what you'll start to see as we go through those areas for utilizing career services and staying connected to the Orange Network. This is just a quick snapshot and only in the work that I've done so far. So this does not even include before I came into this office or what had been going on previously with my predecessor and or the other counselors in the office or people across campus. So that could include some of the schools and colleges that do some of this work too. So this is really just not even a complete picture, just a snapshot of what some of the things that I've done since being here for just over a year. Approximately 330 counseling appointments. That is including 100 different majors from 9 schools and colleges across the map, various industries, cities, geographic regions. Most of those appointments have been over the phone, and I am located in Syracuse, so it kind of limits for the people that are maybe in some of the other cities across the country. So we do a lot of phone appointments or Skype. I'm willing to do Skype as well. I do a lot of reviews and interactions via email and scheduling of appointments. I have been lucky enough to have some face-to-face counseling appointments, whether it was here on campus and someone either is from the area or here visiting. I've been able to connect that way. And then during some of the travels related to some of the things you'll see below, I've been able to incorporate face-to-face in-person counseling appointments when I'm there. Approximately 350 hire orange opportunities have been shared. This is all across all the social media and our online job board. So I do say approximately here too, because it's not a complete picture. This is to the best of my ability to keep track of these. Hire Orange is a really huge initiative that we're going to be focusing on a lot in the next few months over the course of the spring semester especially. So you might start to see more awareness regarding that. And really the premise is it's a position, a job or an internship, whether it's an experienced position, entry level, paid or unpaid internship, whatever it is, that is shared from an alumnus to either a fellow alum or current students. This doesn't have to be necessarily direct, where let's say the alumnus is working in HR and actually doing the recruiting, but maybe it's just their department at their company. And really the goal here is to utilize these as those extra oomph opportunities. So applying to jobs online into the black hole, I call it, is sometimes very discouraging. And this might give you an extra way to have a connection to a person or a solid lead on a job where they are saying, I am coming there because I want to hire someone from my Orange family. So this is going to be all routed through our Orange Link system eventually, whereas before it was mostly on social media. But just keep your eyes out for those because it's going to be great for anyone that's considering a job change or a new opportunity or is currently job searching. So far, I've attended I've attended actually 7 Orange Advantage Series events. My apologies. My colleague in this office, we have partnered on that a little bit. Tracy has done 2, and she will be doing Denver coming up here in a couple weeks. These were where the whole name came from, and the idea for a stronger partnership between alumni engagement and career services because of the recognition that that was something that alumni wanted. They wanted to have ongoing career and professional development. When I was interacting with some of the alumni clubs early on, they would say, yes, we're really great to connect to students and share our wisdom and advice and opportunities, but what about us? We're still kind of in those phases too, even if they were a recent grad or a seasoned professional, just because career development and management is lifelong. So recognizing that and having those conversations kind of made this shift for my position to try and focus on those things a little bit more, including the partnership with alumni engagement. So the Orange Advantage series is basically a professional development series that's been traveling to some of our flyover cities first, places that we don't necessarily get to often. And the first event in this series was a True Colors workshop. So it was a personality assessment that we could do with anyone at any stage of their career, whether they were a recent graduate or a seasoned professional or even retired, because it was more just about personal and professional development and not necessarily something that, was dependent on what you were doing at the time. The reason we decided to do that, especially for the flyover cities, was because during a lot of my counseling interactions that had been going on, assessment had come up in numerous capacities. So whether it was referring someone to take an MBTI assessment or do a strong inventory, it was really about understanding themselves and their values and strengths a little bit more. So True Colors just happens to be the funnest of them all and the easiest to take away as you walk out of the room. So those have been really fun and going really well. And I think we're going to continue to do those all over, including in some of our larger cities now too. And as part of that, what we've incorporated is daytime one-on-one counseling sessions. So you can sign up for a half-hour meeting to connect with whoever's there, myself or Tracy. Usually it's been to have a counseling session, whether it's just a conversation, a resume review, practice interview, whatever it is. That'll give you that face-to-face contact that I especially lack so much being here in Syracuse. Another thing is immersion experiences, and this is a little bit more bringing students down to various cities to do site visits, participate in networking events, explore various careers and opportunities. We're doing them, I do them in New York and Boston, and we also have one my colleague Tracy runs again in DC. So these are things we're looking to expand, and those are only the ones from my office. Across campus, the schools and colleges do their own. iSchool goes out to Silicon Valley. We have a bunch of stuff in New York from Newhouse, Whitman. Arts and Sciences does a bunch in New York. So it's going on all over. This is the 10th alumni webinar. Most of them have been presented from an alum on a topic that they're familiar with, and there's going to be more to come. So if there is something that you feel like you have expertise in or you want to share for anything related to personal or professional development, these are great opportunities to share that. So far, I've done 2 alumni speaker series, which is bringing alumni back to campus to engage with students in the classroom, faculty, staff, all across campus. I'm working on doing 2 more for the spring semester as well. And for those, I really like to showcase unique career stories, especially being from the central office. I like to highlight people that might work in something that was unexpected or doesn't necessarily align with their major, or even if it does align, there's been kind of a zigzag back and forth. And over the course of my time here, I've done various career-related workshops with students, alumni, staff, all across the board. Are there any questions so far, comments? Okay. Back to kind of why this is important, just some quick facts. I took these from the Cornerstone On Demand surveys. They have a ton of information out there related to jobs and careers, but these are just a few I think that are relevant for today. The average American has between 10 and 15 different jobs during his or her career. Many workers average 5 years or less in every job, which means a lot of times they end up devoting more time and energy transitioning from one job to another. And this, another side note, is becoming even less for the younger generation, so millennials, and probably what we'll see a lot with Gen Z coming through too. 55% of Americans total, which part of that would be 76% of millennials expect to change careers, not just jobs, at some point in their career. So not just maybe, me moving from institution to institution, doing career services, but if I was just to change and say, I'm going to go into accounting. Which would never happen. But that is what we mean by change careers, where it's something kind of outside of what you've already been doing that might even include a different skill set. Another big fact is that lateral moves are more common today. A lot of times it was all about, only moving on for a better opportunity. And today it's it's showing that 89% of employees would consider making a lateral move, career move, with no financial incentive. And that's for multiple reasons. Maybe the potential for more financial gain or more development and growth opportunities in a different company. Sometimes it's in the same company and just not working in the same department, things like that. So again, I know this is getting repetitive, but it's just something that speaks to why my position exists. Ongoing continued job searching, networking, understanding and adjusting to the job market is essential to your overall career. So that doesn't matter if you are a recent graduate trying to figure out what your first step is, or someone that's maybe even considering retirement and but wants to do something else, not completely cutting themselves off from work. So it just spans so many different ranges. Our purpose here in career services, these are just some key things that we apply to students and alumni, but I wanted to focus on some how they're going to apply specifically for alumni. In career services, we believe that career development is a lifelong process of managing aspects of learning, work, and transition in order to move towards personally determined, ever-evolving professional goals. Some key concepts that we do focus on is discovery, so your passions, values, things like that. Exploration, determining what's out there, figuring out how to make that move. Building skills, so that even comes down to creating and enhancing resumes, understanding effective language to describe your skills, things like that. And obviously making connections is important. We do this through a lot of self-discovery and value assessment, especially in my work, but we also provide guidance and support to meet you where you are. So a lot of times if someone reaches out through email and says, I want a resume review, usually I will say, let's chat, because I think there's so much more that goes into that than just a review of the document and the contents that is there. I think it's going to help me to help you if I understand the bigger picture. We also offer the opportunity to connect with students and fellow alumni and engage with the larger SU community. So that's in our regions, networking events, programs, everything from New York to LA and international. We are working on expanding that out as well. So I'm going to focus on some of those key areas so you have a better understanding of what will happen during those services. For discovery, these are mostly related to career conversations. Like I said, having that chat about what's going on, why do you want the document review, why do you want to change jobs, things like that. Most of the time, one-on-one counseling through, like I said, the phone, and we're working on more in-person and Skype opportunities as well. We provide self-discovery tools and assessments, so this can be things related to the True Colors workshops or even online tools that can help you look at your skills, your personality, your values, and how all of that will align with your career. Various workshops on and off campus, so these are things that are ongoing. So if you happen to be local and on campus, usually we would let you participate in something. And then also just a conversation basically to identify your marketable skills and talk about what that means, especially in those transitioners. So people that might be looking forward to maybe getting into a different industry. David asks, how can we contact career services and what's the best way to keep up to date about future opportunities? I will have on here all of our contact information in just a minute, and you'll be able to have continued access for that. I'll also just put our website down here to give you the main link to career services. So there's an alumni page there that I'm going to show you a little bit of, but it's not exactly done as I was hoping for all of the information that I want to update on it, just for a future thing. Keeping up to date about future opportunities could be very broad. I'm not sure if you mean more just generally, LinkedIn, Indeed job searches, or more specific to like Hire Orange or Syracuse University opportunities. Chats, presentations, hiring. Any type of alumni event that's going to be going on, I'm going to show you is really identified through our Q's community. So that is a good place where the more centralized communications for whether it's a school or college related event or all across campus, and whether it's a regional, so something going on near you, or an online event. That's where we're really going to be directing a lot of the traffic, and I'll show you where that is too. That is also just cc.syr.edu. Um, okay. The next thing is explore services. These are things that will help you investigate different industries, career paths, continuing education or training, and professional development opportunities to figure out what's going to be a good fit for you, whether it is a complete career change, or even just looking for that next opportunity. These are also done through career conversations. These webinars are great because you might learn something about an industry or topic that you weren't super familiar with or even would have thought of as you move through the job search and navigation process. Any type of workshop or event, again, whether it's online or local to near you, especially in New York City, we do a lot, and DC, all of the major metropolitan areas where we have alumni usually have some type of event going on pretty consistently, and we're working to expand that out and also working to do more online. So the webinar series was kind of the first step in that direction. And I think that from my perspective, I want to do a lot more, whether it's through Adobe Connect or Google Hangouts, whatever it may be. There's so much access to digital technology that I feel like we could be taking more advantage of. Um, Research and online resources is sometimes just the best way to start to investigate things that you might be considering. Job shadowing or volunteering, people say, well, I've been working for 20 years. I don't want to go and job shadow. That maybe doesn't necessarily need to be more of a formal job shadow, but just taking advantage of the opportunity to connect with someone that is doing what you're interested in doing, I think can help provide some insight to that and, make it a little bit more informal. Also, any type of employer or professional events. And I say professional events because a lot of times we'll focus on things related directly to Syracuse University alumni to help, but I think professional associations, regional associations, being on a board, a nonprofit board, things like that always provide more opportunity to connect with other people that might even be outside of your industry. So sometimes if it is more like a general business professional association or something, you might connect with people that again spur you onto something that you haven't thought of or allow you to make a connection that might not have been possible if you stayed connecting to people only within your network and or industry. So just I always like to throw that professional piece in there. And then obviously through social media and Working Orange. At Working Orange was the Twitter where we had alumni take over and kind of do a job shadow through the platform. It actually, when it was created by my predecessor, Kim Brown, she rocks, and it was really, really great. I think as time went on, for the student perspective, it wasn't really as engaging, I guess. Students weren't really utilizing Twitter as much, but the alumni are. So I did keep it going and trying to show other alumni what the alums are doing because those were the ones that were following along and interacting and asking questions and things like that. So it's still archived, and I still am always looking for people to take over. So you might see more about that in the future as well. Now, the building part is more about the resume, cover letter, some of those practical skills that are related to career development. Sometimes people have difficulty writing a resume and trying to describe their skills or knowing what to say in an interview or being nervous. Practicing that is always really good. We do even have a resource called Big Interview where you can go on and do a practice recording because especially for someone that might be 15 years out and 15 years into their career and they go into interview and they're expected to record something and send it along, it's going to be basically like how I feel doing this webinar. I feel like I'm talking to no one, and you're not really able to get any of those nonverbal cues that you are in a face-to-face in-person interview. So those things can be challenging and sometimes hard to navigate. So we offer these resources to alumni as well to help them navigate that and be successful with that. networking strategies, whether it's in person or online. Same for job search and negotiation. The job search itself can, be really hard to try and figure out and narrow down what, you would want to look for, where to look, how to look, what's the hidden job market, all of that stuff. Social media skills, so things related to LinkedIn, what you should do on Twitter or Instagram, Snapchat, all of that stuff. And then also access to brand yourself, which is a wonderful online tool to help you um, review your online presence. It's also founded by two Syracuse University alumni. The webinars, again, is another way to build to build skills. We offer things on personal branding, on staying positive in the workplace, even things like stress management or personal health and wellness, everything from all of the across the board. So, and more to come. So stay tuned for more opportunities like this too. And then finally, the connection piece. We always talk about that as, networking and making sure you're reaching out and connecting to people that might be able to help you in your job search, or whatever stage of your career you're at, or just gaining information. A lot of times when I'm working with people, they'll say, well, I don't know, who I could reach out to, or how do I reach out, or what do I say? And I usually say, well, you started here. We're chatting now because you reached out to career services for some advice, tips, information, and basically it would be the same thing to another person. Just looking for that information or that advice, and taking the onus off of, I'm looking for a job and you need to help me and pass my resume along and all of that, but just gathering information. I do that more generally, where the people that you might be trying to connect with might have a little more insight probably into the specific industry that you're looking to get into or company. Some ways that we are helping you connect is hashtag Hire Orange, again, is going through a whole rebranding and transition kind of just off social media in general and towards Orange Link. So we still will tweet and share it on LinkedIn, but most of the traffic and all of the opportunities are going to be able to be sought after in Orange Link too. Orange Link is our online job board for the SU campus community. Not all schools and colleges utilize it at this point, but it's also something we're working on. And while most opportunities today are entry level or internship kind of geared towards students, we've been working to gather and post a lot more of those experienced positions, just because at this time we don't have a separate alumni job board. And I don't necessarily think that it would be worth separating them out that much to have two completely different, but maybe just filters to search more about what you're looking for, so you don't have to weed through all of those internships or entry levels if you're looking for a senior management position. Q's community is also being built out pretty effectively. This is the main hub for all of the events, alumni club information, how to stay connected by updating your information, so you do get relevant emails to you from the Office of Alumni Engagement, all the departments across campus, whatever it may be, SU in general. And it will also be a directory. So the directory piece is there right now, and it's going to continue to be a little bit more robust as time goes on. As a Syracuse University alum, you automatically are part of the Syracuse University Alumni Association, which is SUAA, and that provides you with things like this Orange Advantage. Anyone that has 60 credits or more is a member. That's another benefit that Syracuse has, is that we don't charge an alumni association fee versus some other institutions. And we're constantly looking for ways to provide resources and services through that. Generation Orange is targeted to graduates of the last 10 years. And there's a newly formed Generation Orange Leadership Council that works right alongside SUAA, but with a focus on those younger generations. Orange Central, always a great time to get back to campus. More programming and events going on that are family friendly, you know. So if you're at that stage where you have kids and you want to come but you can't leave them, or things like that, you can come back and participate in those events too. There's also a lot around professional and career development going on during that time. So you can get the whole experience. So whether you're into the sports aspect of it or not, it's still an opportunity to come back to campus and re-engage. The Orange Advantage series is going to be continuing probably right now with similar events like the True Colors workshop, but ongoing ideas and developments related to career and professional development. So always keep your eye out for that. Alumni clubs are great. We have alumni clubs in so many cities. I'm forgetting the number right now, but there's you probably one at least a little bit close by, unless you're in a little bit of the Midwest. That's where we struggle the most, but that's still coming. We have people out there that want to start those clubs. A lot of regional events, so whether it's club related or not, we do things, especially in Boston, New York, LA, DC. Atlanta, we do a lot in, so pay attention for those as well. And then also the school and college events. So if you graduated from high school, just a lot of times, even if if a Whitman event is going on and you didn't go to Whitman, that they would still allow you to come. So sometimes not getting those emails is okay, but you can still go onto the website and look for the events. And then obviously through social media, the Office of Alumni Engagement does a great job. Kim, again, is over there managing all of that and the communications, and it's a great way to stay connected and kind of see what's going on. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, um, LinkedIn, whatever it may be. I wanted to mention across campus too, just because we do have individual schools and colleges that have both alumni relations types of areas and career services areas. So you would probably, they all operate differently, have to visit their individual websites to understand what career resources would be available to you. Obviously, the online resources that are there, you would probably have access to, and some offer individualized contact or appointments with their career staff, and some don't. It just kind of depends on the size and the resources that they have. But you can always connect. I wanted to mention this too because it's the other half of my job. You can always connect with any department on campus, schools, colleges, student activities, career services, whatever it may be, so Greek life, if you were a Greek person, to participate in various career-related events, workshops, or programs related to students and or other alumni. So if you wanted to come back and share your wisdom or talk about your unique career path or your entrepreneurial endeavors, whatever it may be, we always are welcome that and can work with you to figure out the best way to make that happen, whether it's on campus or digitally or in coming down to you like we do with the immersions and treks and events. So with that, one of the things we do say is you're always welcome to help students. This is, again, that it's a large network, and we really want to inspire others to continue to stay connected, and sometimes getting them while they're students is important. Also, I will say this, in our work, we see it all the time. We'll tell a student, specific things related to career development, and it kind of goes in one ear out the other. But if an alum comes and tells them the same exact thing, it sticks. I guess that they don't think that we have that knowledge or information, or we're wrong, but it is really more valuable, I think, when it comes from the mouth of an alum that might not be a staff member. So keep that in mind. We do have opportunities across campus in the schools and colleges for mentoring, coaching, coming back and speaking on campus or in a digital format, sharing jobs or internships, again with the hashtag Hire Orange. This is going to be hopefully really great going forward. If you have opportunities like that, we definitely want to see them. We're doing featured opportunities, so that'll go out in all of our campus communications, etc. You're always welcome to host job shadows or interns or participate in those immersion programs when we do come to your area. And then so much more. Like I said, if you have an idea or there's something that you want to do or something you've recognized another institution doing, we're happy to assist you in figuring out how that would look here at SEO. So here's some contact information for career services in general, and my email as well. Career services, if you reach out to that contact there, will help you set up an appointment, most likely with me, but we do have other counselors that will help as well. So, and if I feel like one of them would have more information or a better connection or whatever it would be with you, I would always help refer back and forth. We do that all the time. I've been working for some reason with a lot of creative people out there in the creative industry doing freelancing or from illustration or VPA, other VPA majors, and that wasn't an expertise of mine. So have been working closely with our arts guy. He's specifically our creative careers guy. So to help me help them better or pass them along if necessary. Also, Hire Orange email is great to send any of those job opportunities to as well. Okay, so I wanted to just show you a couple of the um, websites that I talked about. Desktop. So, oops. Here is Career Services. Career Services, syr.edu, is the main hub for the Central Career Services office, so my office where I work. The individual schools and colleges will probably most likely you'll be able to access directly from their websites. But there's a couple things here that you'll see that I want to point out. So most of it obviously is a little bit geared towards students. Down at the bottom, the right, you'll see Hire Orange and building your network that could be related to alumni as well. But those things will be changing and evolving. One thing I was hoping to have done before this webinar was the revamp of the website, but it's a continued work in progress. So you can come back and check it out as we go on, because it's going to focus on um, services a little bit more. So the old focus was a lot about how alumni can help students, but it's going to be more about what I went through today and then accessing those various resources. So when you click the alumni page, that is what will come up. You'll see information about how you can help and connecting. Or Hire Orange opportunity if you want to share something to post to Orange Link. You'll see the webinars here and access to Q's Connect and Working Orange. All of this will be revamped, but the main points basically that I pointed out in the webinar will all be here, including some of these online resources over here to the right. If you wanted resume and cover letter reviews, this drop-ins is if you happen to be local, but you can always schedule a call. Changing careers, we do have just some quick tips and things about changing careers and links to resources that might help you understand that a little bit more. So just some simple things to get you started, and it will continue to develop as we go on. The other thing I wanted to bring to your bring up was the Alumni Association website, because this will also provide you with access to some of those connection pieces that I was talking about. Syracuse University as a whole just went through a new website launch. So if you haven't been on in a couple weeks, this might look very different. So everything is in transition, but it's all for the better. Things are starting to look better and easier to find, things like that. So this is the Alumni Association for the Office of Alumni Engagement, but it can link you to various things. Regions, if you wanted to check out New York City and see what was going on there, you can come to this page and see events and talking to alumni specifically in the city and all of that. Also, the career services, that'll take you over to the page I just showed you. Events, this brings you to the Q's community. And this was one of the other things that I mentioned that I think is important. The events page here is nice because you can go through and see where events are. Let's say you're traveling for work and you're not, you don't get the email updates about events in that area. You can see if there's something that happens to be going on, out in LA and you're coming from New York, that you want to participate in while you're there. Just, expanding that network and also connecting face to face with people that you might not be able to usually. So you can peruse this, you can narrow it down to specific regions, and usually there's some kind of registration there for you. Also, it'll give you all the club information. There's profile and class notes that you have to be logged into. So you would go to this login page. Again, this is something that is continuously developing. As we navigate this new system, things will constantly be changing and updated. So don't, panic if something on there I didn't show you or you weren't expecting to see. You can always reach out if you have questions about that. I also wanted to show you Orange Link. Oops, it signed me out. Just for your own knowledge, because I am going to continue to refer people there, especially for those higher Orange opportunities. So this is a student and alumnus interface. So this is what you would see, and you would be able to go here. If you don't have access because you've been out for a while or you don't remember your password or email, reach out to me. We can get that figured out together. But it's really great to look for jobs, see if there's events going on. The only thing that alumni can't really participate in unless the employer says it's okay is on-campus recruiting. So if you were local and we had employers coming to do interviews here, etc., you wouldn't be able to go on and just actually apply for those right away unless the employer said it was okay. So those are things to keep in mind, but just an overall good resource that the jobs tab will have a higher orange filter in this advanced search that's not there yet. But what I would say you could look for is just the hashtag, because we've been putting them specifically in the job description if I post them myself. So trying to get more people to do that, but things will get better as we go on. Okay. And LinkedIn was the only other thing I really wanted to mention. Now the interface has changed. LinkedIn has experienced some new visions, and some of you might go on it right now and not even see it how I do because you've already been upgraded. So it might look different, but just continue to pay attention to the Find Alumni tab. This is something I cover in a lot of my appointments and people don't know about. So it's a great way to kind of narrow down maybe people that you're looking to connect with by where they live. Let's say I'm looking specifically in New York City, which is where most of my appointments are. And let's say I was looking for someone that does music. It's just a great way to start to narrow it down where it can be overwhelming at first if you're trying to look for people that you should be connecting with related to your career. And again, it's more about the information. There's some ways to navigate around the in-mail and paid service that LinkedIn offers, so that's always something I can help with too. But at least as a main research tool, this is a great starting point. And if you wanted to change, let's say you have another college or institution that you went to as well, you could just search that up here. They don't have the overall change college tab anymore. But you can go to their main university page, like my alma mater here, and I could do the same thing. So another great way just to connect, maybe see who's in your area that you might not have thought of, and then sometimes even just outside the industry, maybe you want to transition or look for that new connection. This would be a great way to start too. Okay, so are there any other questions, comments, concerns about anything that was presented? Most of it was just pretty general, but I wanted you to at least understand that these services are there and were available to you. So you could reach out or spread the word. Happy to connect in any way that I can. Someone is typing. Great information. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Don't hesitate to reach out. This will be posted to the YouTube page for where all of our archived webinars are, where you can have continuous access to them. So If there was something you missed or something you wanted to review or something you can't remember, you can always go back and review that. As a participant, you will get an email related to that, providing the link for you. Also, a survey. So if you wanted to answer a few questions, it just helps us as we go on. This has been an ever-changing process now, almost for 1 year doing these, 10 of them. Things change every time. I'm learning something new every time. The platform is interesting. So I'm happy to take any feedback and suggestions that you might have. Excuse me. All right. So thank you so much again, everyone, for participating. And I hope to connect or see you all sometime soon, whether it's in person or over the phone. Have a good day.